Chicago's catching 6 points at Philly. Totals moved downward to 219.5. Currently, the Sixers are the $2.40 favorites to win this one outright for some money line cash. And at the moment, just 46% of the handle is shaded toward the Bulls. And with that in mind, if these Sixers continue to take money, we might just see Chicago catching 6.5 by tip-off. And of course, if you're a Chicago backer in this one, any additional half points you may be catching on the spread here is just icing on the cake. These guys have been covering machines lately. 6-0 ATS in their last 6. Chicago's also covering a ridiculous 87% of their games facing teams around 500. They're going up against a Sixers squad who's covered just 7 of 14 against sub-500 teams. They're also 0-1 ATS in their lone head-to-head matchup with the Bulls. Now, scoring-wise, both teams are 2-1 to the under in their last 3. That'll probably explain that total moving downward. All that in mind, though, the trends are just a little too juicy toward the Bulls plus the points for me to throw a dart on the scoring in this one. So I'm going to pass on a play on the total. But what I will do is lean toward the Bulls plus the 6. And as a matter of fact, I feel so strongly toward this one that I really don't want to let it slip through my fingers. So I'm going to go ahead and buy it up in a 5-pointer. So all told, I'm going to take the visiting Chicago Bulls plus 11 as the first pick in my 2-teamer. And then for my next and final game of interest for this Wednesday night slate of games, I'm going to slide into Toronto at the Atlanta Hawks, 7:30 East at the Phillips Arena. Toronto opened 7.5, now down to 6.5. Total open 213, now 215 flat. And at the moment, the Raptors are 225 to win it. Now, despite the fact that the Atlanta Hawks took the majority of that early money, as a matter of fact, they moved that number down a full point in just 12 hours. But regardless, despite taking most of that early action, the handles now become shaded back toward the Raptors. And as a matter of fact, this Toronto squad is taking 64% of the public money. So look for the spread to gradually creep back toward the direction of the original opening number. And if you're an Atlanta backer in this one, that's only going to help you, and it's really going to help you gain a statistical advantage. These guys have been really good against the number as of late. 3-1 ATS in their last 4, 5-2 covering in their last 7, 3-1 covering in their last 4 home games. This Atlanta squad is also covering a solid 61% of their games that tipped off at the current point spread. They're going up against a Toronto ball club who's been ice cold against the number as of late. The Raptors have gone 0-4 against the spread in their last 4, just 2-6 covering in their last 8, and 0-3 ATS in their last 3 road games. And equally as disappointing with these Raptors trends is their record ATS laying the points away from home. This Raptors team has covered just 7 of 15 games this year as the official road favorite. Now, total-wise, 2 out of Toronto's last 3 games actually fell under the line. Meanwhile, on the other side, very similar story as Atlanta games went 4-0 to the under last 4, 6-1 to the under last 7. Now, based on the trends, I'd certainly feel like a heavy lean toward the under would be the most reasonable play, especially out of all the totals in the Wednesday night slate of NBA games. But just keep in mind that the general consensus on the handle is that this game's actually going to end up going over. Once again, it opened up at just 213 and has already gotten bet up to 2 full points to 215 flat. So with all those contradictory factors in mind, I'm going to once again fade a play on the total in this one. That said, though, I'm really liking these Atlanta trends when it comes to the number, especially being at home tonight against a struggling Toronto team against the spread. So I'm really liking a lean toward Atlanta. So let's go ahead and buy it up to complete the 2-teamer. All told, I'm leaning toward the Atlanta Hawks plus 11.5 as the second and final pick of my 5-point 2-team teaser. All right, folks, that is going to do it for me for Brock Page Productions. I'm Brock Page, and have yourself a positive day.